Hi, I'm Christine Lackey with Untangled Mom, and let's untangle this. And what is this week? Well, I'm really excited to share that this week I am going to be FaceTiming every day live at 2 o'clock Mountain Time to talk about a really important issue to me and to so many of you that I've heard from, and that's body image. I'm calling it body image, get real, get clear, get confident, because I think that the more we talk about it, that's how this happens. And I'm putting it out to a lot of moms for two reasons. One is because a lot of moms still struggle with how they feel. The second reason is because moms are worried about how what they're doing and how they're speaking is going to affect their kiddos. So let me share a little bit about me so that you understand a little bit more why this is such a passion of mine. So my background is I have a master's in psychology. I have studied all around the world, essentially with different teachers of different practices, learning about self-discovery, self-inquiry, mainly because I struggled myself with a lot of issues like most of us do. I was bulimic, anorexic, and an overeater when I got to college. I felt fine before college. I got to college, and the truth is what happened was and let me preface something for this week, okay? Because I'm a storyteller and I love to tell stories. I think they're really, really important. So I may bring my mom up a few times. Um, my mom and I are really close. She's probably one of my best friends and one of my greatest advocates and most support ever. And growing up, she was a tough one. So one of the things that I'm going to be talking about are different stories, and as I talk about them, please know we're in a really good place. So what happened for me is my mom was pretty controlling. And the messaging that she gave me growing up was it was like nothing was ever good enough. Nothing I did was ever okay. I remember there were times that I could come walking down the stairs and my mom would be like, God, you look miserable today. Why do you look so miserable all the time? And I'm like, because my mouth frowns like this, Mom, it just goes down. I'm not miserable. I'm okay. But as a kid, when I kept hearing it all the time, I then started going, am I miserable? Well, maybe I am. And there were times too that she would say things like, are you really going to go out dressed like that? Do you want to put some lip gloss on? You don't know who you're going to meet. And I was like, why do I have to put lip gloss on to meet somebody at the grocery store? But and I took the messaging that she was saying all the time like that I wasn't good enough. There was something that wasn't okay with me, right? So one of the things I'll share with you is from the work that I do and with the families that I work with today. Look, every single parent's doing the best that they can, and they're sharing things to help motivate their children or help put their children in a really good place based on what they know, right? And we have to start becoming more conscious of what we're saying. We just do. And here's the crazy thing. Like you hear that story of like, wow, are you going to put lip gloss on? Does that sound like a deal breaker? No. Was it for me? Yes. I had another mom share with me that she had a very specific memory of, and then again, this doesn't have to be just moms, it's all of us, and this could apply to men as well. It's what is those subliminal messages that we heard that made us start questioning how we felt. One mom was sharing with me that she had gotten dressed, she was in junior high, and she put on a little makeup and put on a nice little outfit, and she just felt so beautiful, so beautiful. And she came walking down the stairs, and as she's walking down the stairs, she was like, I just feel so beautiful. And her parents were like, um, what are you wearing? And no, you're not going out like that. You look absolutely disgusting. Get back upstairs. So she took on this message that there was something wrong with how she perceived her own beauty. And she started to question, am I pretty? Am I not pretty? And the way I do things, obviously there's something wrong. So for me, this is one of the core things that I really want to talk about this week, because for so many of us, we've been sort of brainwashed in a way to think, oh, when girls have body image issues, it's because of all the models they see on TV or in the magazines. Sort of, not really. I mean, not really. It's honestly, it's the messaging that they get at home. It's the messaging that they get from their culture. It's the messaging that they get from friends. It's the messaging they get from parents that make them question, right? So the other thing that I want to talk about is, as families, how do we address these issues? I was married for 12 years, divorced now for over 3. My ex-husband and I, we parent beautifully and we talk a lot. The reason why we talk a lot about how we're parenting, and mind you, we don't agree on everything. There's a reason why we're divorced. And we talk a lot because we want to look at how are we talking to our kids? What are we saying to our kids? Are we noticing the reactions our children are having when we're speaking to them? And what might those reactions be? Because what is so important for our kids is to feel seen, heard, accepted, and feel as if they belong. And this belonging thing is something we're going to touch upon all week long because it's a big part of what drives a lot of people to feeling not good in their body and looking outside of themselves all the time to figure out, how do I do this right? Who's going to want me? Who's going to think I'm okay? Who's going to think I'm enough? It's more that stuff than what is it that I look like? Do I look thin enough? It's just that body image stuff comes on later on because we're trying to get some sense of control of, am I doing this right or wrong? So please hear me when I say that. So again, with parenting, it is about talking. And this week is all about all of us talking and sharing our stories, mom and mom. What I'm trying to do with Untangled Mom is interview parents just like you. Why? Because I think we're the experts. I really do. I think we're the experts. Why are we the experts? Because we're in the trenches every single day with our kiddos. And if you are open enough to be on a call like this, if you are open enough to listen to what's being said, what that tells me is you are open enough to look at what you're doing right, what you might be challenged by, what you might want support with. You want to hear what somebody else has to say, and you're open. What does that mean? It means you're doing this parenting thing the way you were meant to do it. We keep hearing all the time, oh, but I didn't come with a manual. No, our children didn't come with a manual. We came with support. We came with friends. That's our choice. We have to surround ourselves with people that are going to support us, listen to us, give us information, give us feedback. If you don't have that, then you find it, whether it's someplace like this or in your community. So I brought up my ex-husband again and how we try to talk about our kids, and that part with, did you see the way that they reacted? Okay. So sometimes, and I'm going to keep trying to give examples. Sometimes like my kids will come here like, oh my gosh, so dad, he just made this, he said this thing, and oh my gosh, it just made me feel so bad. And I'm like, okay, here's what we know to be true. No parent is trying to make you feel bad. I know your dad didn't do that to make you feel bad, but I can see how it's making you feel. Let's have a conversation. So with my kiddos, there's a big invitation for them to always have the ability to tell me how something I may have said or done made them feel, right? Because again, as a parent, I'm always going to do the best that I can. I'm going to offer them information based on how I was brought up and the information I'm now taking on board. Am I going to get it right? No. But what I am devoted to and what I invite everybody to start looking at and listening to is being devoted to a different way of relating to our children, in a way of, how am I speaking to my kid and how is it making them feel? Is it lifting them up? Is it lifting them down? Am I motivating them? Am I putting a break in there? And look, we're all going to screw up. We are. It's part of parenting. But again, that's what this conversation is about. So I was sharing with you, and if I go all over the place, I'm sorry, there's just so much I want to talk about. So I was sharing with you that I got anorexic, bulimic overeater when I got to college. Why? Because there was a lot of control in my life when I was younger. And I got to college, and honestly, I felt like I didn't know how to function. I didn't know where I fit in. I didn't know how to communicate with people my own age very well. I had a lot of messaging growing up that, whether right, wrong, or indifferent, and a lot of times it's how we hear it, the messaging I constantly heard was everything was always my fault, and I was always wrong. So when I got to college, there's this whole new pressure of showing up in a new way, and me actually, think about it, when you were going off to college or when you left your house after high school, or whenever you left your house, the intention was stepping into, I'm a big girl now. I'm a big boy now. Look, I can do this. Well, I tried stepping into that and I was like, I don't know how to do this. And I just felt so bad about who I was. And that's where the eating disorder started to take over because I was just looking for something to control. I was just looking for some way to change the way I felt inside because I didn't feel as if I belonged anywhere. And again, listen to this word belonging. It's so, so important. Um, and what happened for me was I went home to my mom and I just said, hey, I got a problem and I need some help. And if we can find somebody to just give me a manual on how to change this, I will, because I don't like this. The truth is, I knew I was going to die because of the behavior that I had was really bad. I was hospitalized for about 5 weeks, which was really wonderful. It didn't end there. I struggled with it for a long time. I had it under control for the most part, but struggled with it. And I will have to share with you when it changed for me was when I was pregnant with my first child. I was pregnant with my first child. I had been doing a ton of emotional work up to that point, just looking at how did I feel. And the truth was, a lot of how I felt was judgment about me. So had things have been said to me earlier in my life, yeah, but what was affecting me so much as I was moving through life was the judgments that I was putting on myself. Okay, I was not happy with me. There was problems with me, and it was these things that were going on in my head. So I was doing all this work, looking at what was going on for me. I get pregnant, and one day I have to tell you, it was the greatest moment of my entire life. I have goosebumps. I might get emotional. I was probably about 7 months pregnant, and I got really small boobs. Like they're small. I've got like A's, right? And I was like double E's. Think about it for a second. For a girl who has nothing, but that was pretty amazing. And I was just like, oh my gosh, these are so cool. And not only were they like the coolest things in the world, sorry about the hand gestures, but it's sort of the way it was. I had this belly, right? And I'm standing there naked, looking at my body, going, this is the coolest thing I have ever seen in my life. And I had this realization that I have actually no control over my body. None. It was doing what it needed to do without me doing anything about it. It was growing this child. It was making these massive, beautiful boobs, right? And I wasn't going to be able to change it. And it was just this realization of how incredibly beautiful and amazing, like amazing. And I do think our bodies are beyond brilliant. I was like, this thing is brilliant. And it was like a switch got turned back on. It felt like I was back in my body the way that I was when I was a kid. And I was like free. And I was just like, oh, shit, this is cool. And this is how I want to live. And I do. I don't struggle with an eating disorder anymore at all. I'm not saying that I'm perfect and I don't have my moments with, struggling with life, because I do, but I don't with an eating disorder anymore. And I do believe it is because the relationship that I came back to was with myself. The blame of other people was gone, the judgment I let go of, and I chose, and I don't even, it just happened. It was just this wonderment of turning and facing and going, whoa, I have been in judgment of something so amazing for so long that has created so much pain that was so unnecessary. And it is a really wonderful place to live by, that place. And I hope that this week, with the conversations we're happening, that you'll hear some things or reach out to me so we can talk more about it. So here's how this week is going to go. Today is just letting you know, here's the way it's going to work. Tomorrow, I have a mom. Again, we're experts, so that's who I'm talking to. A mom, her name is Kimberly Langsfeld, and the cool thing is Kimmy actually helped babysit and nanny my daughter when she was young, and we would co-parent. So we would take turns because she worked for me in my business, and we'll talk more about that tomorrow. But she is a mom of two little ones that are 3 and 5. They're 12 months and 4 days apart, but who's counting? She is, because that's close. And I was talking to her about body image, and she sent me this beautiful note. And here's something she said. She said, I really want to talk about this and hear more about what you have to say. I've been thinking a ton about my body image lately, how I'm struggling with my mom bod. Sound familiar? I look at other moms, women my size or larger, and think they are sexy and voluptuous in those bodies, but struggle greatly to get myself to see myself that way. I also have been looking back, and when I was in my best body, quote unquote, I saw mostly flaws. I look back at photos and think, how could I have even thought that that wasn't enough? How could I have been at all self-conscious in that body? Why am I still self-conscious in my body today? And where do I get to the, oh, sorry, when do I get to the age when I can just accept the woman looking back in the mirror to be enough? Oh my gosh. I mean, I think that most women, again, whether you're a mom or not, this is paramount. This is everywhere for so many women. And I'm so excited to talk to her about it tomorrow. And then she also said, I look at my daughter, who's 3, her perfect little body, and I see myself and pray to God, oof, that she loves that body as much as I do, that she sees that body the way that I do. And that's another thing I want to talk about is like when we're holding these messages in our minds, the self-judgment and the fear and the criticism, our kids feel it. They do. And we need to talk about this because we don't want to pass this on. I was listening this morning to this gentleman, Jay Shetty. If you don't know who he is, look him up. He's wonderful. And he said the most interesting thing. He said, you know, when we plant the seed of fear, a tree of anxiety grows and the fruit of stress sprouts. And I went on a run this morning. I was listening to that and I actually stopped and I was just like, whoa, I've never thought about it that way before. When we plant the seed of fear, so that fear for a lot of us growing up is, do I look okay? Am I accepted? Do I belong in my family? Do they love me enough? This is this fear, okay? Am I doing it right? When that seed of fear gets planted, a tree of anxiety begins to grow. And we start growing up with the anxiety and the judgment inside of our body, right? And then the fruit of stress sprouts. I have to tell you, therapists and researchers today are seeing more and more stress in kids than they ever have before. There is so many different reasons that we don't need to get into today. But as parents, when we start seeing that stress, is an opportunity to look over and be like, okay, first of all, might I be co-creating that? Maybe. And second of all, how do I make sure my kid feels seen, heard, and accepted? Because that's how I'm going to start picking that stress fruit off that tree and knock that son of a bitch down and plant a different seed. Okay. So on Wednesday, I'm going to be interviewing another mom, Kirsten Herzig, who's somebody that I have known for many, many years, and our daughters are the same age. What I love about this particular interview with her is we're going to talk a bit about some of the messaging that she received from her mom about having to look a certain way as well. And also, she had an older brother who wasn't exactly kind sometimes in his things that he would say about her. And again, this isn't blame. It was just that nobody was there to say, that's not okay, don't do that. And in that, again, is, do I belong? Does my brother even love me? Does he have my back or no? Because when we know that somebody has our back, that we are completely loved and we belong, I have to tell you that the probability of getting into a negative body image goes way down the tubes. It just does. Then on Thursday, I'm so excited about this young lady. A young lady in her mid-20s, and she is from here, Boulder, Colorado. And when she was in high school, she was part of the Boulder Youth Body Alliance, educating health classes in our local school district about health at every size, eating disorders, and weight discrimination. She also lobbied in Congress to pass a bill that would encourage research into eating disorders and help those struggling to get treatment covered under their health insurance. She now tries to promote positive body image and self-love in all forms. Like anyone else, she struggles with doing the same for herself. So Maya is not a mom. However, I thought it would be really wonderful to bring somebody in who could talk to us about coming from that perspective. And she talks to young people all the time. One of the questions I'm going to ask her is, what are the warning signs? What are you seeing? What are you hearing these kids say that us parents can start paying more attention to? Okay. So I'm really excited about that. Then Friday, we'll pull it all together. We could do a FAQ. We could talk more about any kind of support you might need, any information you might need, any books you might be looking for. I'm happy to offer whatever support I can. I'm just super excited to do this because I think it's super important. Again, whether you are a mom or just a person who struggles with body image issues. Okay. So you could always reach me at Christine at Untangled Mom. Shoot me an email. And by all means, if you have a certain question that you'd like me to address either now or at another Facebook Live in the future, because I'm intending to do more and more of these, please send me that question because it really helps. Like Kimmy sent me this beautiful letter and I was just like, oh, well, here we go. This is what we're doing. So please reach out, shoot any questions. I hope you stick with me. And whether you can join me every day at 2 o'clock Mountain Time or not, these videos will be posted up on Untangled Mom's Facebook page and you can listen to them anytime. Please pass this information on to friends and family. Let them join. I think it's going to be really a wonderful experience. Alrighty. Well, thank you so much. Have a great day. And Christine Lackey, Untangled Mom, let's untangle this. Let's untangle this body and shit. All right? Crap stuff. So I curse sometimes. I've tried to stop. It doesn't work. So I apologize ahead of time. Just who I am. Okay.